Welcome back to another episode of 40 Facts about the 40K universe. I am your host, Gershwan, and you are watching One Mind Syndicate. Today we do a viewer request. We're going to be talking about the Kroot, the Tau allies. So let's get into 40 facts about the Kroot. The Kroot are a species of savage humanoids who are a member species of the Tau Empire, who evolved from an avian creature. Kroot are tall aliens, a good half-meter taller than a human. Their avian ancestry giving them the bird-like beak and long quills protruding from their heads like hair. A unique feature of the Kroot is that they evolved by selecting traits of their defeated foes to absorb by eating them. Due to this, many Kroot warbands across the galaxy often look radically different. Kroot leaders are known as Shapers. They are generally the Kroot with the best ability for recognizing desirable traits in defeated foes, and telling their kindred, a word for Kroot clan, what to eat to suit the task at hand. For instance, a Shaper who wants his Kroot to gain muscle mass will take on campaigns against orcs to acquire the right DNA, while extensive feeding on flying predators will allow the Kroot to grow wings. This eating of their foes ties in with the religious belief of the Kroot. They believe that when a warrior of any race dies, his warrior spirit should be kept, and the only way to do this is by eating his flesh. The Kroot practice this in their burial customs, in which the body of the deceased is consumed by their kindred. Kroots who prey extensively on a particular species will begin to take the characteristics of that creature. In sentient species, such as orcs and humans, they may also take on cultural aspects of that race. Kroot who have fed on Dark Eldar, for example, soon begin to show signs of cunning and intense cruelty the Dark Eldar are well known for. In the case of animals, this sometimes leads to evolutionary dead ends. A kindred will find itself locked into an animalistic and unintelligent form, unable to evolve themselves from anything else. Species such as Tyranids, who also absorb the DNA of their prey, are particularly dangerous for the Kroot to prey upon, as they may acquire too many undesirable Tyranid characteristics. Kindred is a term used to define a family or group of Crude Carnivores, and their Shaper leader. Kroots can also specialize their kindred, such as the Headhunter Kroot kindred, whom has devoured the most poisonous creatures they can find, which has allowed them to spit poison at their enemy. The Stalker kindred, whom have devoured the most stealthiest creatures they could find. The Vulture kindred, which have grown wing adaptations which allow them to soar, not fly. The Tracker kindred, whom are excellent raiders. And the Hunter kindred, which have the most Kroot hunting rifles among the Kroot. The ecology of the Kroot homeworld of Peck includes many species of animals that are partially Kroot, the result of a kindred's evolutionary misstep. The Kroot use these related creatures as laborers, pack animals, and even as weapons. The most common example are the canine Kroot hounds, the lumbering powerful ape-like Krootoks, the dragon-like Narlock riding beasts, and the massive dinosaur-like great Narlocks. Another creature of note is the Kroot hawk, an animal held sacred by the Kroot, possibly because it may be their evolutionary ancestor. There are other Kroot subspecies that are considered outcasts in the Kroot society, and are killed by Kroot if found. In order to gather genetic material from all over the galaxy, the Kroot offer themselves as mercenaries, and sell their service to anyone willing to pay them. They travel the galaxy taking limited contracts from both major and minor races, and are regularly employed by the Tau. While the contract with the Tau is supposed to be an exclusive one, the Kroot regularly send out their warp spheres to continue their mercenary trade amongst the wider cosmos. At the close of the Tau first period of expansion, an exploration fleet out of Dalith picked up a long-range scan of orc ships firing on Kroot warp spheres. The previously unencountered Kroot were defending their enclave on the planet of Krath, although they were hopelessly outnumbered. Intending only to observe, the Tau were drawn into the battle as both the Aircast Admiral and the Firecast Commander could not bear to watch the honorless orc bludgeon their way to victory. Quickly deploying their superior fleet, the Tau destroyed the ramshack greenskin ships. Too late, however. They realized that this was merely the vanguard of a mighty invasion force that was closing in on them and encircling them. Thus began the extended war, both in space and over several planets. later named the War in the Place of Union, for it marked the first time the Tau and the Kroot fought side by side. So effective was the sudden alliance that they withstood the orcs long enough for reinforcements from Saki to arrive, the ultimate triumph over the Greenskins. The Tau were so impressed with the Kroot's fighting prowess, they agreed to extend the alliance in order to liberate the remaining of the Kroot enclaves, who were also under orc attack. For the next 10 years, the Tau helped drive all signs of orc from Kroot worlds, eventually coming to their homeworld of Pek, at the behests of its great Kroot leader, the legendary Angkor Prak. There, at the sacred Oath Stone, the Kroot leader swore allegiance to the Tau Empire and pledged his warriors to fight for the greater good. The pledge and the cooperation between the two races is still honored today. The Kroot are by far the most common alien auxiliary force to serve in the Tau army. The Tau generally value the military service of the Kroot, although they continue to hope that exposure to their own superior culture will eventually cure the Kroot of their cannibalistic tendencies. The Kroot seem to be a simple, pre-industrial society, incapable of achieving flight, much less traveling through space. However, Tau observers on Pek have noticed evidence that many point to an industrial base hidden or even inside of some mountains. This may be explained by the Kroot feasting on the low-tech race that is the orcs. It is probable that the Kroot deliberately keep their general level of technology low, using it only for weapons and interstellar travel in order to keep their species strong. The Kroot's primary weapon is a rifle with a design derived from the fighting staffs used by their ancestors. Originally, the slug thrower, the weapon was modified by the Tau to fire a charged particle similar to that of their pulse rifles. The rifles are in fact used mainly in close combat, and to this end are fitted with blades on the stock and at the end of the barrel. The Kroot also employ the Kroot gun, too big and unwieldy for one Kroot to handle, mounted on the back of Krootoks. In addition to the Kroot rifle, the Tau helped the Kroot construct other weapons. The Kroot themselves have other weapons that they have gathered while serving as mercenaries for other intelligent races, or they have scavenged from the battlefield. These weapons include splinter pistols, bolt pistols, sluggas, shuriken pistols, power weapons, and various close combat weapons, as well as their two-handed cousins, like the splinter rifle, storm bolter, shuta, shuriken catapult, flamer, plasma gun, and melt-a-gun. Kroot may also have imperial war gear, which includes frag grenades, crack grenades, melt-a-bombs, auspex sensors, and even orc totems. The most important member of the Kroot Kinder is the Crude Shaper. Like stated before, normal Shapers guide certain adaptations in some Kroot Kinders, while other Shapers work in the Chapter Council, which oversees the development and guides the Kroot Kindred's gene matrix. Shapers also pay homage to the Master Shaper, who is the leader of the Kroot Kindreds, and hold the responsibility of allowing or rejecting certain traits into the Kindred gene matrix. The Crude Carnivores are the basic infantry for the Kroot. They have the ability to absorb characteristic traits from the food or remains of an enemy they consume. It has been reported, though, the Crude Carnivores can become tainted by chaos by eating the flesh of chaos worshippers. Kroot Hounds are an example of Kroot that have reached an evolutionary dead end. These Kroot have evolved into canine-like Kroot. Like the Kroot Hound, the Krootox is an evolutionary dead end. The Krootox is an ape-like type of Kroot, usually used to carry heavy burdens because of its immense strength. It has been noted by Tau on Pek that angry Krootox are something to be avoided. Krootox have a Kroot gun mounted on their back, which will lend some much-needed heavy firepower to attach squads. Great Narloks are similar in appearance to Krootox, except much bigger and faster. They really resemble Tyrannosaurus Rex. Narloks are very different to control, and are goaded into combat by trained Kroot handlers. If the handlers are killed, Narloks may turn on their allies, even other Kroot. The Kroot homeworld of Pek lies within the Ultima Segmentum, not far from the Tau Empire. On this world, massive evergreen forests of the hardy Jaga tree cover most of the prime continents. The other regions of Pek that are not covered by forest are mainly inhospitable ranges of rock cliffs and jagged mountains. It is from Pek's deepest forest that the Kroot originated. In there, they live within the abnormal colonies in family groups. Most make their homes nestled amongst the higher branches of the trees, from animal hides and deadwood pulp. And those were 40 facts about the Kroot. The Kroot is one of my favorite alien races in all of Warhammer 40k, next to the orcs. When I was younger, I actually tried collecting my own army, because back in 5th edition, I believe, there was a free codex that you can print out from the internet that had, like, you know, you can create your own mercenary army, and it was like a legit mercenary army, because you could go to Forge World and buy the Krootox and all that kind, or the Narlox and all that kind of stuff, but they've taken that away, and it's a bummer that they have. But yeah, it's an amazing army. I really love it. Comment down below if you guys actually ever did collect that full mercenary army. I would love to hear your stories of how it fared in the battlefield. Thank you guys so much for listening. Don't forget to subscribe. Support us on Patreon. A simple $1 helps us create more videos for you guys, and I'll catch you in the next one. This was Gershwan with One Mind Syndicate, signing out.